Malcolm Gladwell wrote a great book called Outliers that many of you may have read. And within the book, he talked about something called the 10,000 hour rule. I'm going to tell you what I think nomad capitalists should know about the 10,000 hour rule and why those who don't follow it aren't accomplishing nearly what they could be. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson. I don't recommend a lot of business books. I think that while knowledge is important, too many people spend too much time reading books and not enough time taking action. It's the same thing that I see in the offshore world. People spend lots of time reading and researching and reading forums and, let's be honest, dreaming about what they want to accomplish. And at the end of the day, my opinion is it all comes down to a hell yes or no decision. Do I want to do this or do I not? But in the book Outliers, Malcolm Gladwell says 10,000 hours. What does that mean? 10,000 hours, he says, is the amount of time it takes to really be proficient at something. He talks about the Beatles, for example, doing well over 1,000 live concerts to get their act honed. Another example is, Jay Leno from The Tonight Show in the United States. So many people don't know that he would spend many of his Sunday nights going out and testing out new material. Even though he'd been a comic for 35 or 40 years, he would go out to the local comedy club and test out new stuff. And there's something about the fact that so many people today with YouTube and with so many books on Amazon, we can all become an expert on something very quickly. But the challenge, there's two challenges. Number one, the challenge that I've seen in my business that I've evolved and beaten over the years is when I first started in business, I didn't trust people to do what needed to be done. I had a hard time saying, here's the keys to the website, or here, just go and handle this. And it kept me small, right? It kept my businesses earlier small. I built a pretty successful business from nothing in the radio industry. But quite frankly, if I went back and if I knew everything that I've learned from subsequent businesses, and I went back now and were able to start over again, it would be at least triple the size because I wouldn't be thinking as small as I was. I'd be doing all the right stuff, but I'd be investing more, I'd be more open, I'd be more trusting. That's something that held me back. The second thing is if you don't have those 10,000 hours of experience, you are going to have some doubts. And those are things that you need to push through. They talk about how Sinatra had butterflies even at his umpteen thousandth concert. It's just natural. Now, those are the two concerns that I see. How does that affect a nomad capitalist, and where does this rule come into play? I've spent well over 10,000 hours studying this offshore stuff, and I've been living it. It's not just studying it in my basement. I've actually been out living it for the last 12 years, studying and living. And I have a full-time team that I've trained to do the same. So now I'm amplifying my efforts to where there's a bunch of us going out and doing research, following the processes that I've created and learning new stuff. That said, we still learn new stuff every day. And so the challenge I see that people, you could apply these things to your business, and I suggest that you do. I suggest that you do be more trusting when you're hiring people for your business and trust that people will do a good job. But when it comes to Nomad Capitalist and the stuff about reducing your taxes and going where you're treated best, people who get results are those who are trusting. They find the right person to hire, they get the right advice, and they move relatively quickly. I know, again, all the people who are the multi-decade millionaires that I've had the privilege to work with and to meet, some of them will tell you, Andrew, I'm not that intelligent. Some of them are really intelligent. Some of them will say, Andrew, I'm just an average guy. And they're being humble, but there's also a truth to they just put the time in, and that's why they got to where they are. The people who are really successful, they just make binary decisions. Yes, I'm doing it. No, I'm not. And so the bigger challenge for someone who's aspiring to be a nomad capitalist is if you don't have those 10,000 hours in, you're always going to be having questions. And what I tell people is, you're going to have those questions. Like Sinatra on the stage with the butterflies, You are never going to be fully comfortable with moving your company overseas. You're never going to be fully comfortable opening that bank account. There are ways to reduce it. As I always say, you don't need to put your entire net worth in your first foreign bank account. You can slowly wade your way in. But if you don't have the experience of doing it, there are always going to be questions. It's nice to have a mentor, and I try and help people and coach them and walk them through because I want them to win. I don't want them to go back and retreat to doing everything that they said they don't want in their life. But that 10,000 hours is really, I think, where you really start to understand things. I can tell you, 3 years into researching this stuff and being out there in the world, I really didn't know that much in retrospect. Now I'm 12 years in, and there's still a lot of stuff I don't know, and I'm still discovering stuff, and I'm still trying to hire more people so we can research more things because I want to cover more ground. There's so much to learn, and so I try and put myself in the shoes of someone who has, 500 hours of just, casual internet research, and I understand why it can be tough. But I also understand that just as you found in becoming successful, just as you found in building your business, tough decisions are what get you where you need to be. For me, one of those tough decisions was trusting in people to just do the job. And it meant bringing in the right people. Once I had those people, I listened to their counsel and I did what they say. And that's why I've built bigger and bigger businesses. So I think that those are two very important things. If you look within the 10,000 hour rule through that framework of understanding that it's okay to be uncomfortable, but you've got to power through to get what you want, I think you'll have a lot better results. And I can see, having worked with hundreds of people personally, those that just trust in the process, those that know that with the right advice they're going to be okay, everything's going to work out, even if they're not quite sure, how that ATM card works, even if they're not quite sure, how the residence process is renewed. They know it'll be okay because they trust and because they know they're going to build their knowledge as they go. That, to me, is what has really been successful for a lot of folks who do the Nomad Capitalist lifestyle. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus traveling all around the world, teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6 or 7 figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.